Pineapple smells like butt. It does.
Oh, you can
Or
smell.
like armpit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, hi.
Hi.
I'm Christine.
I'm Jamie.
We are here to talk about A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young.
Yes. Yes, we
It's
are.
our book club episode.
Yes.
Book club.
Book club. We need someone to make like jingles for us.
I know. But I feel like I'm so good at it that I would never appreciate hiring anyone to do it.
That's true.
That's an
book club.
That's an ego thing, I guess.
Book club. Is that very like
Love
80s
it.
or 90s?
Our book club episodes are standalones.
Yes.
So this is the standalone I picked for February.
Christine's pick first.
Yes, you get the next pick.
Yes.
And I can't believe I have to wait till June to do the
Oh,
next pick.
really?
Well, they're bi-monthly, right? So
Oh.
we're doing February, and then you have April, and then I have June.
Oh my god.
Look, if I quit my job, I would do this. I would just do this.
I could make lots of money doing this. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's gonna be so long.
I know, but we're covering
Oh yeah, I like it. No, it makes sense.
time. Let's talk about this book today, though.
Yes, you will. Do you want to talk about your drink first?
Yeah, let's talk about the drink. Okay, so because it's my book club pick, I decided that I should be able to do the drink too.
Which makes complete sense, and I didn't put that together when I was reading it, and you also did put it in the notes.
I did.
But I just feel like it's an automatic thing when I'm reading now to like think of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, you did help me with your idea.
Yes.
Because while I was reading the book, I was like, okay, well, it probably needs to be a whiskey drink because they say 100 times how they're drinking whiskey. And
right?
Side note, coming home and just like pouring a whiskey, that is so foreign to me.
I know.
But when it happens, I'm like, yeah, that sounds great.
It sounds good. I feel like I'm going to get like that with bourbon one day.
Oh, you like bourbon that much?
I feel like I'm really into it, where I'm like, I could see myself doing that. Me and my friend did that with scotch one time when we were like in our early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just like, because we always said how people do that, or like old men, they're like, oh, we're going to have like a scotch. We did that. It was awful. We're like, I don't get it.
Oh, side note. The other week I tried, because I have scotch from a drink that we did a long time ago. And I tried it with scotch, ginger beer, and lemon.
Ooh.
And it was very good.
Okay, that would be good.
That's the only sort of scotch drink that I think I liked.
But it was like a thing where it was like, you see it in movies and stuff, and people go and they're like, it's raining, and let me pour you some whiskey.
Or I've had a hard day, or I'm angry, I'm just gonna go to the bar cart.
Yeah. Pour a little whiskey in there.
Yeah, never get it. But they did this several times in this book, so I was like, okay, I guess we're doing whiskey. And then Jamie, I asked her what she thought while she was reading the book, and she said a coffee drink. So I was like, oh, okay, let's combine that.
Because they're in the diner a lot, and she's always kind of drinking the coffee.
In the diner,
yeah,
of course. So let's do a coffee whiskey drink. And what I came up with was an Irish coffee cold brew.
Which is great because we're Irish and we have never had this.
But Irish coffee is a really popular drink and a well-known drink. So what it is Irish whiskey. Usually it's hot coffee, but I did cold coffee. And then usually it's brown sugar, but I did a brown sugar simple syrup. Mm-hmm. And then we added some cream on top.
It was good.
It was good.
Once we got the syrup right.
I know. We were trying to do the syrup from a fancy contraption and anyway, the more sugar the better is what we learned. Yeah. It was, I really liked it.
Same.
Yeah. I like whiskey. I like coffee. I like cream. I like sugar.
That's right. It's good. And I don't like a plain coffee, so I liked it. It was great.
What would you rate it?
Ooh. 7.
I give it an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to call it?
Yeah, that's the question. I feel like because we're doing a standalone book, I just have to call it A Sea of Unspoken Things.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that makes the most sense to give it a specific. What are we gonna call it? Northern California.
Cougarland.
I love you, Micah.
Yep. Oh, that would have been a good one.
No, that's what it's called.
Okay.
All right. So one of the things that I want to talk to you about that we have already talked about a million times, not recording, is the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes. I feel like we have talked about this recording.
You're right. We talked about this on our Halloween episode.
Yeah.
Because you like to watch this movie every Halloween.
I do. Since I was in elementary school.
Right. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about and I don't care. And then Jamie tried to force the movie on me. Okay, we're watching it.
Yeah.
Because I had never seen it before. Now, what I didn't know is a month or so later, my son, who is 3, was on Disney Plus, which is an app that children like.
Yeah. Most people know what Disney Plus is.
But on Disney Plus, the Rocky Horror Picture Show is on Disney Plus.
Yes, that's where it is.
So he saw the big red lips. That's like the cover of it. And he was like, I want to watch that. And I was like, okay. let's check it out. Jamie did try to force this on me, so maybe there's something to it.
Yeah.
And we watched the whole thing.
Yeah, and he loves it.
And then the next day, he wanted to watch it again. And the next day, he wanted to watch it again. And at this point, we were recording this January 2025. I have watched it at least 20 times.
You're probably almost up to the amount that I've watched it in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has this little pad that he can watch videos on and play games. And he'll just go,
he thinks it's a vampire movie.
He does. He thinks that they're vampires and zombies and mummies.
Like when Frank comes out and he's like, oh, the vampire's coming.
Oh, he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he had it on. I put it on at Mom's for him. Yeah, the way he's seeing it is a totally different way than what it actually is about.
At the end of the movie, when Frank, the main character, he's singing this ballad, right? And it's really sad.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, like the audience claps in the movie, and then he claps. He's like really excited, like yes, Frank. Yeah. It's just like
you know what? It's gonna be like one of those. Like, do you remember like we were talking this the other day, and like when our cousin had her oldest son's gonna be like 16 this year. So when he was like a child, we put on like Brave Little Toaster because we loved that when we were little, and another one, and we watched it. And we're like, this is a weird movie. It's actually really scary. But we loved it so much when we were little.
Yeah, you don't get it.
Yeah, and then you rewatch it like as an adult. And you're like, why did I like this? Mm-hmm. What's happening? So I'm really excited to watch this with him when he's older. And to be like, this is what you thought you were watching. But I hope he still loves it because I love it.
You're watching a transvestite from Transylvania.
Yeah, it's a sweet transvestite from Transylvania. And it's just a musical. But yeah, and then the mummy, like he's like, oh, there's a mummy. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
To his credit, it does look like a mummy.
No, like when he's like you're saying, like what he's saying, I'm like, no, that absolutely makes sense. It is like a monster house,
and like all the extra people in the movie that do like the dancing and stuff. Like he says, the monsters are going home, or like the monsters fell asleep when they like do the dance and they collapse after. Oh, they fell asleep. Oh, they woke up. The monsters woke up.
No, it makes sense. I mean, it is a Halloween movie. Funny. So it makes sense. I really love it for him, and it makes me love him way more. 5 nephew points.
A Sea of Unspoken Things by Adrienne Young. This was just released.
Yes.
This was just
Which was exciting.
Do you want to read the intro?
Yeah. Like back and forth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. A woman investigates her brother's mysterious death while coming to terms with her own haunting past in this atmospheric novel from the New York Times bestselling author of The Unmaking of June Farrow.
The only thing James and Johnny Golden have ever had is each other. For as long as she can remember, James's deep connection with her twin brother Johnny has gone beyond intuition. She can feel what he feels. So, when Johnny is killed in a tragic accident, James knows before her phone even rings that her brother is gone and that she's alone, truly alone for the first time in her life.
When James arrives in the rural town of Hawthorne, California, to settle her brother's affairs, She's forced to rehash the ominous past she and Johnny shared and finally face Micah, the only person who knows about it. He's also the only man she's ever loved.
But James soon discovers that the strange connection she had with Johnny isn't quite gone. And the more she immerses herself into his world, the more questions she has about the brother she thought she knew. Johnny was keeping secrets, and he's not the only one. What she uncovers will push her to unravel what happened in the days before Johnny's death. But in the end, she'll have to decide which truths should come to light and which should stay buried forever. Oh, what did you think reading the description? Because I feel like I have a very different experience reading this book because I have read 2 of her books before. I kind of know what I'm expecting.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more
magical.
Yeah.
I know. This one was the least magical, if I'm to...
Yeah.
So I was like, knowing what her other 2 books were, I was like, assuming it's going to be a little bit more.
Yeah. Which, and I had kind of known that it's not like full like fantasy or anything like that, where I felt like this was just more of like a thriller mystery.
Yeah.
Than anything magical.
My description for it was magical mystery.
Oh.
But that might be giving it more credit.
Yeah, because I don't... More intuition. Like, I just...
But it was past intuition. It was, like, truly, like, interconnecting in a...
Yeah, like, that wasn't a really like, that's more... Because I feel like in normal time, twins do have this type of weird bond in general, right?
But it's more than that. She can...
Yes.
She knows how he feels how he... Like, it's...
Yeah.
It's hard to describe. Magical is taking it too far. I don't even know what to call it.
I wouldn't call it magical. So I was disappointed about that. And it also felt like really Hallmarkish a bit to me. Like a Hallmark thriller. I do love a thriller. So I did like that. Like I like trying to figure out what happened. At first I was like, it's gonna be Micah.
Yeah, that would have really took a turn. I think somewhere in my notes I have like, I swear to God if it's Micah.
Then it got to a certain point where I thought it was like that. I was like, if it's him, this is just stupid.
Yeah, I would hate it.
Yeah. But I did like that, the thriller aspect of it, but it felt very Hallmarkish to me.
In terms of like the relationships.
Yeah, it's just like small, I don't know. It's just...
Oh, totally. Okay, that was one of my other comments about how this one felt so similar to Spells for Forgetting, which was her other one.
Okay.
Like, let me tell you the similarities here. So the main character in I'm not going to spoil you if you haven't read that. The main character in Spells for Forgetting is a woman.
Yep.
Except for she's the one in the small town.
Okay. And
then the guy that she dated in high school, he comes back.
And that's like every Hallmark movie.
Yeah, no, totally. And then their friend from high school died.
Oh, okay.
And then like there's more to it, right? Like like right off the bat when I read this book, I was like, this feels really familiar. The Unmaking of June Farrow is not that at all.
Okay. There's
no previous lover coming back.
Or just like make it in a small town. Like
where someone's not coming back?
Yeah. Just to at least break it up a little bit. But it's just, I feel like every Hallmark movie is like, oh, coming back from the big, like that whole...
Yeah, but
also, the first little bit...
We could say that about fantasy, right? It's like, hey guys, we're doing the same dance, but do the same dance and do it in a way that I'm still okay with it. That happens.
I'm not a Hallmark movie girl.
Me neither.
And just right away, I was like, why is this giving me like just Hallmark movies? So I kind of almost right away was just like, oh.
You had your backup.
I did.
You did.
I was like, this feels very Hallmark, and I wasn't expecting it.
There's so much more prickly though.
Yeah, but
you're like, are these people okay?
Are you okay?
No.
Yes, this wouldn't actually be a Hallmark movie.
None of these people are okay, which we're going to talk about. Okay, but just our like first topic is just to talk about like the feel of the book and stuff and the writing. One of the things that I do like about her writing, because I don't disagree with anything you said, but the thing that I like about her writing is I do like her vibes.
Yeah, no, it was great. Like woodsy.
It's pretty chill.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and everything like moved really quickly.
Yeah.
Which was nice. It was like a very easy read. There was lots of things I loved about it, but I did think, yes, the writing, I feel like it's very easy. It's very quick. I wasn't like, oh, this doesn't make sense, like that type of thing. I felt like everything, I don't know what type of, I'm just putting my hands together.
It was just making a movie with my hands.
Yes. The puzzle was put together very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
and it was very, yes, it's very easy to read, her writing, which is nice. And she does do well at like setting the vibes.
Atmospheric.
Yeah.
I did love the setting for this book.
Well, yeah, it sounded beautiful.
I have been, like, we live in Canada, obviously. We live in Canada, if you don't know. But I have been to Northern California a couple times, into the Redwoods, and camped there.
You did. I've just driven through.
Yeah.
What you drove. I was in the front seat.
But that's, like, if I'm gonna pick a place to travel, I would go back there 100 times.
Yes.
That is, so this book was like, I was like, oh my god, okay.
It would be a very good movie.
Pick my favorite place.
Yeah.
It would be a great movie. You pick my favorite place. So the Redwood Forest. There was a swimming hole. There's whiskey. There's a wolf dog. Which
the dog was my favorite part.
I own a wolf. I shouldn't own. It's my baby. I have a wolf dog. And then there's a man in a cabin.
I also kind of have a wolf dog. So.
Do you have a wolf dog?
Looks like a wolf a little. Maybe a coyote.
He's more coyote, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. He's cute.
But just all of those factors.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
was great.
Please.
Like, felt very at home in it.
Yes.
And even when they did, like, can I just jump places?
Sure.
When her and Micah went, and they ended up having to, like, stay at the swimming hole or wherever.
Yes. Yeah.
And how they were, like, smoking weed in the truck. And I think they were having, like, it just felt like so, like, high school, where I'm like, I can, like, smell the weed. And, like, just being, like, in a random forest and...
The campfire, and then someone, like, brought a bottle that they found in their parents' cabinet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just very, I was like, oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Brings me back.
Yeah. I like how at 37, 38, these characters are, going back to the spot and having a fire and still, smoking a joint or whatever they're doing.
Good for you.
I do like that aspect of the book.
Yes.
She, in her books, all of her main characters are around that age.
That was one of my favorite parts of it.
Plus.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was actually probably my favorite part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this, like, makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I can relate to this.
Yeah, I was like, this is great.
But also, even though you guys aren't 20-year-old women in fantasy books, you all still need help.
Oh my god.
You all still... Do you know... Okay.
So
now I feel like a tangent is coming on. But I did see a TikTok. I saw a TikTok, and this woman who was a woman maybe around more our age, and was like, okay, like, stop, like, telling us that we want, like, older women in books. You don't want older women in books, right? Because they, like,
Oh, they'll tell, yeah.
Because they're different than the women that you read in the fantasy books. That's why we like the fantasy books.
Okay, I feel like I've seen that.
They're at a certain stage of their life. And I agree with her, but I don't agree with her. Right? Because, well, to be honest, those women that are 18 and behaving in such a way that are, like, easily falling in love or whatever else, or, like, still in a...
Where you're like, oh, you're so young, I can understand why you're making those decisions.
Right, but, like, I was still that way at 25. Like, I was still...
Yeah. Even, like, 30.
They don't need to be 18.
Yeah.
And then we have characters that are, like, 38 and still, like, don't have their shit together. And I feel like that is real. That is real to me. I get
100%,
that.
yes.
So I don't know that we need to... I think there could be really great fantasies with, like, maybe some unhinged behaviors that we need to see the growth journeys that could be...
Yeah, because it's not like all of a sudden you get to, like, 37 or whatever, and you're like, oh, I have my shit together and I've figured everything out.
I want to stay home and lay on the... I don't know that's...
No, I don't think that's true.
Okay. Well, anyway.
So I do agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to point out one thing. When it's like the beginning, when she like kind of gets there, I think she goes to the coffee shop and then figures out like the soccer team. She said, oh, when I saw the sign about like Cougarland, I thought like cougar, like, you know, they call like older women cougars.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought when it said Cougarland. I thought it was like this weird... I mean, I was kind of... I don't know. Was I sick at this point? I don't know.
Yeah, but did you have too much cold medicine?
I tried to think, but I was like, Cougarland. I was like, that's some like weird reference to like the hot older women in the town. I was so confused.
Well, it is a reference to what you usually read and how this is a little bit...
Right? So I was like... then I was like, oh my god, it's the high school soccer team.
Yeah, that's just their mascot.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Yeah, I just needed to point that out.
Within like the mystery aspect of this with the plot, there was places where there was a world where this book could have been very obvious and people would have ate it up, and I do feel like she does a pretty good job of not making it really, really obvious and giving us lots of...
Like, who did it? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I'm like trying to think of the word. Suspect. We have lots of suspects.
Yes, there's lots of suspects.
And she gives us lots of information about how those people could possibly be suspects.
Yes.
And so... I'm not the like most intelligent person in the world when it comes to like finding who the killer is.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't try that hard. But
I do.
But I do
try hard.
But from my end, I do think she did a good job of really trying to bury the
yes. ending. I called Olivia from the beginning.
So,
I would just like to say that.
But that's probably us reading a lot of mysteries where we're like, don't look at that one.
Yeah.
I have it somewhere. Where is it? Oh, I like wrote down in my notes the suspects and I was like, Micah, Autumn, Ben, Sadie, secret suspect, in brackets, Olivia, Griffin dad, too obvious. That was a note I wrote down while reading the book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Secret suspect, Olivia. So I was like, that is the one to...
Olivia was my number one the whole time.
Okay, good for you.
Thank you. But it was because some of them like, oh, that's too obvious.
Yeah.
Or like Sadie, I felt like Sadie was too obvious at first.
Yes, but those are the ones that are also a little bit buried because it's like, you're obvious, but you could do a roundabout to make it like,
yes.
Oh, because you're too obvious, you're not going to guess it, so actually that is actually it.
Yeah.
So she did a little...
I did like how that like came together and like her reasoning and everything.
Yeah.
It was, like, good. Like, I felt like that whole part of it was really good. Like, tried to, like, put, the pieces and stuff together. I mean, I feel bad for the Autumn, but...
Yeah. Yeah, said it. Oh, just never found her body.
Right? Oh, well.
One of my notes was Sadie's son is being weird, but that also felt like an obvious plot line where it's like...
Yeah.
We know that that's not going to end up being it.
Yeah.
But what I did think afterwards when the story ended was... I did end up liking that storyline.
I did. At first I was like, ugh. And then I did also think the Griffin's son thing.
Okay, that was one of my questions, because at some point I was like, okay, is he Griffin's son? Is that why?
Because she looks at him at one point and says, I see Griffin.
The guy that died? The other guy that died?
Yeah, the other guy that died. But then because James says, oh, I looked at him and saw Griffin at one point.
Yeah.
And that was just, I was like, I don't understand why that's in there then. So that kind of threw me. But yeah. But I did end up liking that storyline.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, it could have just ended really basic or like unclimactic. So that's again to bring up like Adrienne Young's writing where it's like, okay, you did something like different with it where it feels satisfactory at the end. This storyline that could have just been like something to confuse us along the way actually did wrap up a little bit better than I thought it would.
Same. I thought it was, just gonna kind of be like one person and that could be it. But it really...
Oh, it might be him, but it's not him.
Yeah.
But it actually, there was more to it, right?
And I like how it ended up, which I kind of thought it would. I think they kept like leaning towards it, like, Johnny was doing these like terrible things. And I was like, I don't think he actually is though.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like that it stayed with that.
That it ended up that, no, he wasn't that bad?
Yeah, like that he really was just helping her, because in my mind, I'm like, I feel like he's helping this girl because it reminds him of his sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, I'll be disappointed if that's not true. And then that's also kind of just a weird storyline.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't like that storyline either. The idea that he was like sleeping with this 18-year-old girl. No, I did think it was going to end up like, no, he was just trying to help her, but someone else didn't like that. Yes. Or something.
Because so every time like that was brought up, I'm like, that's just not something I'm believing.
Yeah.
I don't feel that.
Especially when we started to get more of the story of Griffin and James, right? Yeah. And just, it feels like it wouldn't make as much sense if Johnny was going after some girl that was 18 based on like how he responds to like his friends. Exactly, like his relationship with people in general, for him to all of a sudden pursue this relationship. It felt odd. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah. Feel right at all. Where in my mind, I felt more like, I feel like she reminds him of his sister, and that's where he's connecting and helping. And then they also have like a connection with like the photo aspect, art aspect. Okay, I do have Smoke 10 out of 10. The dog. Oh, the dog. Okay, I do have a comment with the dog. Before that, though, I do want to say, I did like how Sadie was the killer. Yes. I did like that. And I thought, this makes sense. I never trusted this woman. Never.
No, same, the whole time. She had a Minnesota accent for me the whole time.
Did she?
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
Nope. She, like, we'll do casting and stuff, but I was picturing, like, there's someone I actually casted for her. Do you know Schitt's Creek? I can't remember her name. The wife of, like, the mayor. Yeah. That's who, like, I'm picturing, but in, like, a Minnesota accent. That was Sadie for me. No, I didn't trust her. Didn't trust her at all.
No, you can't.
No.
You can't trust her. She'll knock you out. Okay, can we get into some of these characters? Let's talk about Johnny.
Okay.
Yeah, so some of my notes say 38, yes, please. Likes owls, yes, please.
Is this your husband?
Is this my husband? He lives in the woods in a cabin.
And he likes birds and likes to take pictures of birds and has a dog. It's your husband.
Oh my god. This is it. Sorry, my actual husband.
No, I mean, like, is it? Like, that's pretty much him.
Let's talk. Okay, his relationship with his sister.
Okay, I would want to say I really did like the photography part of him when she was like in the darkroom and stuff, because when I first started learning photos, I did get to do the darkroom.
Okay, I had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah, so that was like very nostalgic for me, where I'm like, oh, I love this, because I haven't done that in forever. So that was like, I really enjoyed that part. So
what's the red light?
So you're not exposing the film.
I don't know what that means.
Because like when you have actual film, like, you know, it's in the back of a camera, it has to stay in the dark.
No.
Because if you open the back of a camera and you expose it to light, that's going to expose the film. So it'll be like, just, you'll ruin the photo.
Like it'll turn black.
Yeah, or white.
Or white.
Yeah. So when you're in the dark room and you're working, it's like a red light, so you can still see, but it's dark and it doesn't expose the film.
Oh, okay.
So and like when that light's on, you can't go into the dark room because then the light's coming in from the door. Or sometimes they'll have like double doors, so that doesn't happen. But you have to put the film, like when you're actually doing it yourself, like through different chemicals. And then you're like putting a light onto the negative, onto like an actual paper. It's a really cool process. It's now become a very expensive process. But it's really, yeah, like I'm happy I learned how to do that.
You should install one in your house.
Oh, I wish. If I win the lottery one day, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I would love to do that.
And of course you will. You will win the lottery.
I will. I'm going to just put that in the universe. I am going to win the lottery one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will be a lottery winner one day.
Yeah. So like down with Johnny. Not down with him burning owls. I mean, that was weird.
Killing owls.
One thing that I thought at some point was a lack of information shared between them felt weird. They're twins, and
Yeah.
so we've come to understand that there's some weird connection between them, and yet, like, with this bond, they still seem to not be close at all, and like she's just realizing it, and it feels very like, girl,
Yeah, you really didn't realize any of this before?
like this is you're just waking up. Like, are you like in a sleepwalk throughout your life that you have not realized until the age of 37 that
I actually feel like she was, though.
maybe
She really frustrated me as a character.
that is possible. She was just like, la la
She was just
la.
like, I got out, I'm doing this art thing. Like, her life felt empty to me, anyways. Like, it just didn't feel like.
It was just like 20 years of like, we have a close bond. It's like, babe.
But you're like, oh, he like shows up sometimes and does this. Like, you have no idea who any of these.
You don't ask questions.
You don't know anything. Like, it was just.
My other thought, this was when I was at 30%. And I thought, Kate, your brother sounds awful. I'm confused. Like you and Micah, like, why do you like him? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like you all are like
I feel like we're
sad,
missing a lot.
Right.
Like, there had to be, like, I feel like all the, like, really good things about him.
Yeah.
Clearly, because, like, it's not like the community did like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when she went back, like, they enjoyed him. He obviously got along good with, like, this autumn girl. Like, he did have good characteristics.
Maybe, and we didn't see that enough.
We weren't given that information. I felt like we were just.
We were kind of just immersed in James's confusion of like, there's pieces of him and his life that I wasn't paying attention to or didn't know, and I was really distant. So she's like in her own vibes, in her own head. So we were not seeing the full picture. We were in James's story.
Yeah, and like her view about how she was always fixing things for him, how she was always doing all these things for him. Where I feel like then that wasn't giving us the roundabout. We weren't getting the whole
picture.
But like Micah stayed with him for how long, and like he's not his brother. Like, his entire life did not have to stay friends with him.
Yeah.
So there was obviously something that, like, connected them as friends. Mm-hmm. So he couldn't have been awful. But yeah, it was really.
And we are left at the end of the book being like, I kind of still don't know why everyone liked him.
Right?
We missed that part. Which, yeah.
Like, he seemed like he had, like, a rough go of it as a kid. He had some, like, anger things.
Very.
Yeah. But.
They were on their own, right?
Yeah. But I'm still like, I don't know. Yeah, I just wasn't given enough.
Just give us like a little tidbits of it. But I guess like that's the point of the book, right? We're just getting her perspective and her like journey. But even
like from her as well, I don't feel like I was given enough to really care about her as a person. Like, I'm like, I don't really care that much for you. I felt like she was really immature.
Oh, like, yeah. No, totally.
Like, there was a lot, I'm like, I can't connect with you at all, really. Just, like, when they broke up after they had sex, and then.
Oh, yeah.
And pretty much says, I regret, we shouldn't have done that. And I was like, okay, that's, like, harsh.
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah, did you really have to, like, say it like that? And then he, like, looks at her, does something where then she feels like, oh, and then he looked at me like that. I'm like, well, yeah. You literally just said you regret having his penis in your vagina. How do you think someone's going to react to you?
How dare he?
Yeah.
How dare he look at me like that?
And I was just like, oh my God. Yeah, I just felt like she was like, oh, like I went away, like I did all these things. And I kind of came back and I'm like, I feel like you've had no growth. Like you're still kind of stuck as this 18-year-old.
Okay, look. But if we can relate for a minute, we are one person in like our personal life as adults.
Yeah.
When we go back to our family homes or in like a different environment and, like our family dynamic, when you go back to your childhood home or with your parents, sometimes we revert back to like, this is my role, this is who I am here, which can be different from who you are just on your own or with other people.
Yes, that's 100% true.
So I wonder if that's a piece of it, where she goes back to her hometown and she's like...
all of a sudden going back to who she was.
Who she was for Johnny.
Yeah.
and Micah in the group, which is like this girl who is silent and the fixer and always like 10 steps ahead, thinking what other people need and feel and trying to adapt her behavior based on that, because she's had to be a type of like caregiver.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have parents, right? So her and Johnny, parents for each other in this really fucked up way.
Okay, I agree with that.
And so she reverts back to that when she gets home, and maybe by her going to San Francisco, she got pulled out of that, right? She gets to like make an invisible wall and be a real adult in that life.
I think I just also just wasn't given enough of her as a person. Do you know what, like...
Yeah.
Still.
No, it definitely...
But yes, I 100% hear what you're saying, and that does make complete sense. But I still don't really care about her.
Yeah, but I also like...
Well, I feel bad, even though she's not real, but... Like,
if I'm like to take an optimistic view, though, I do enjoy the fucked upness in a sense where I'm like, yeah, I'll watch this.
Yeah, it's like, it's entertaining.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'll look at your, like, unhealthy behaviors.
Yeah.
Okay. Your reactions to Micah are like... your reactions to your brother... Your reactions to Griffin?
Oh.
Like, there was a lot of,
questionable.
Yes.
Yeah.
But.
And then, like, Micah, I felt had, like, more growth.
Can I say one more thing about James, and then I want to get into Micah?
Yes.
Okay. So, I had a thought after we learned about Griffin and the story about how he assaulted her, came on to her, and then, you know, how he died. So after we learned that, some of my thoughts were like, this feels weird and uncomfortable. That she can't tell anyone anything.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's like, was a theme as her as an adult. Like, we saw that in the book, and then it's like, oh yeah, she was doing that when she was younger too, and now she's like still doing that shit. But she can't tell anyone anything, and then also just doesn't say anything to Griffin about his weird behavior. So, like, him showing up everywhere, you know, the quote is like, I could feel him wedging into cracks of my life. I think it felt very toxic.
Yeah.
And she's, like, walking on eggshells around everybody, like, trying to say the right thing or do the right thing, even with the people she feels closest to.
Well, yeah, like, you see what Micah, she's keeping so much from him. Like, that's the one person you don't have to. She's not honest with
anybody. She's not honest with her brother. She's not honest with Micah. And then this Griffin thing happens, and it's like...
keeping everything
so terrified of just being, like, a real person.
Yeah.
And so she's doing that shit at, like, 37 or however old she is, right? And it's still, like, it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
But that's kind of good. Like, okay, it's nice to, like, read a book where you're like, you're fucked up, but, like, okay, I see that.
Yep.
I don't want you to be that way, but okay.
But it's happening.
And that's real.
But you know what? You're going to solve the mystery.
Like, we know that person,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well, I feel like everyone has their...
Yeah.
Just in different levels. We all need to...
Well.
She's an extreme version.
Let's talk about this man. First of all, the dog.
Oh, right. Yes. I love how she could just walk around town with this dog. And at one point she's like, okay, we're going to go do this. The dog's already out the door, walking down the street. I'm like, I wish.
My wolf dog that I have an Alaskan Malamute. This absolutely would never happen.
Nope. And I have a Husky Shepherd. Would not happen.
Nope.
Nope. He does not like to come back. Nope, neither does yours.
Nope. They just like to do their own thing.
Yep, they do not listen. We've tried.
The issue that I have with this dog, it was 20 years old.
Yeah, I was also...
So either Adrienne Young doesn't know how long these dogs live for, because that's, like, not a thing, or this is part of the magic.
Okay, right? Because at the beginning of the book, like, she kind of touches on it.
She does. So I'm like, okay, does she know that? Does she know that that's, like, not a thing?
Where it's like, oh, the dog's alive. So I thought it was going to be like, oh, this is, like, smoke number 2 or something, and that was going to be referenced.
No.
But then it was just never taught, and I was like, oh, no, this is just still the same dog that they had in childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, it was... But so he had to just be really old. Maybe that's why he could just kind of hang out everywhere.
Jamie, those dogs do not live till 20.
How long do wolves live? What's his name? Thought it was a wolf. Wolf. Lifespan. Oh, in captivity, wolves can live up to 17 years.
It wasn't a wolf. It's a dog. Okay. Okay, so Micah and James. So the thing that was the title of the book, where it came from, I'm guessing. So the quote is, "We could fill the fucking ocean with the things we never said to each other."
Which I would like to say is the best quote of the whole entire book. And I really, really loved that part. That part made the book for me.
That's what got you?
Yeah. I was just like, that quote is just like perfection.
And the fact that he's willing to say those things, but she is not, so he holds back on this.
Because even she, like, references for that, like, oh, we just didn't talk about it. We did these things instead. Like, she does, like, reference that. And I just feel like that's just such a great, like, just human quote.
Mm-hmm. There's information that we're sharing and we both know, but nobody's willing to say it out loud.
Yeah. I can't even remember the name of the book now. That threw me off. I never thought,
A Sea of Unspoken Things?
Oh... That makes sense.
Did you not make the connection between that quote?
Absolutely not. I did not make the connection. But that was my favorite part.
Because that's my thing with, like, the Adrienne Young books, was I was like, why are these books called these things?
Oh, okay.
And, like, there is a point in those books where you're just like, oh, okay, I see where she plucked it from.
Yes,
and so I think that quote was where that made finally the title of the book made sense to me.
Yeah, I kept forgetting what the book was called. That's the first note I made was that.
Okay. My other favorite part of the book, because it made me laugh, when her and Micah finally hook up.
Yeah.
And they're making out so quickly, almost to the point that I was like, did I miss a page? So quickly she takes her shirt off.
Well, yeah, she's like, she is almost 40, Christine. Yeah, we're just going to get right to it.
She's got places to be.
Yeah. Let's not mess around here.
And I thought...
We've already done this before. We've done this dance.
I was like, babe, you took off your shirt real fast. It's just a kiss. It's like, okay, we're going in for a kiss. We haven't kissed since we were 18, 19 years old, whatever it is. Oh, okay, no, we're doing it. Right? It's like, in her mind, we're like, yep, we're getting it in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take my shirt. It's like, what if it was just a kiss? Like, why don't you, like, take a beat?
Nope, she knows.
Maybe it's just a makeout sesh. Like, feel it out first.
But she knows him really well.
Quick. That I was like, almost like, is this gonna be like an embarrassing scene where he's like, oh, but that's not what happened. I was so off put by it.
No, I feel like when you've slept with someone before, you can feel the vibes. So she knows him that well, where she's like, no, this is where it's just gonna go.
One touch of the tongue and you're like, and my top's off.
Yep. Let's just get to the good part.
Okay, alright.
There was the description when she got to his house at one point, and his home sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
He sounds like such a well put together man with his beautiful cottagey home. Another part I liked when she's like, you'll never leave here or something, and he's like, I made up this place. I just enjoyed that. I don't know, he just kind of seemed like he understood himself a lot more.
You hate her.
I don't hate her. I feel like she has lots of different... I just don't feel like... I couldn't, like, connect with her. Yeah, not one of my favorite characters.
She had poor communication skills.
Yeah, or I just wasn't given... There was just not enough stuff for me to like.
But they're a good match. He has the patience for her nonsense. But because he was also present for it, right? Like, he understood her childhood, and, like, not having parents is a big fucking deal.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
Like, and he was present for all of that stuff. So, you're able to tolerate people more in their behaviors when you understand the context, or, like, you've been through it with them, or you, like, know their family or whatever else. Like, you're able to be more patient and stuff with them, which I think is why this relationship was believable. And we weren't just like, why are you with her? But it's like, no, I could see why he gets it.
Oh, for sure. But there was another part. It was like her and, like, Olivia, when she went to go see her, and she, like, talks about... I almost felt like she looked down on a lot of people. Like, I kind of, like, I got out of here, and it was almost like looking down on the people. I think near the end...
Olivia wanted to get out of here, and that was, like, a negative thing or something.
Yeah. Like, and by the end, obviously she does end up coming back. And there is parts in the end where she kind of does reference, like, yeah, it's not so bad staying.
Well, because her mom stayed, and she referenced, like, Sadie staying, as if, like, you got stuck.
Right, yeah, and then, like, just her and Olivia were talking, and she's like, oh, I felt bad, blah, blah, blah. I shouldn't just say blah, 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 but she just, like... But, like, talking to Olivia and just, like, in her mind thinking about how she felt bad for her because now she's, like, stuck here doing this. And then it was, like, that happened, like, quite a bit. Where I was, like, also, again, not getting enough of her life back there. Where I'm, like, it didn't really seem fulfilling either. And I felt like you're putting a lot of judgment on these other people for, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think that also, I think, was what rubbed me the wrong way in the beginning with her. I'm like, who can, like, just let people live where they want to live, girl.
But she also got, like, that message, like, there was a theme, like, throughout with, like, Johnny wanting her to get out kind of thing.
Yes.
Right? There
no,
was
I get
this
that.
Idea, yeah.
Yeah, that. But I felt like she was judging a lot of people she was friends with.
I think we should just talk about the ending and then,
She solves the mystery.
Oh, I was just gonna talk about the scene where Micah shows up in the gallery.
Oh, yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, I wrote aww.
Yeah.
But also Quinn, like, she just starts making out with this random man in the gallery. Like, she's there with Quinn, starts making out with this random man, starts making out with Micah, and then Quinn is off getting her a drink. Right?
Well, she does reference that he got distracted and was in a different conversation. Still. And I don't know if she was there with him specifically.
There was the vibe, though, of, like, he wanted to be invited, but she really invited him, but he showed up, and she was giving him good vibes of
and then he showed up in the town. I felt like he was really trying hard there. It was just
a little bit of, like, another example of poor communication, where it's just like, okay, we're here in the gallery, and I haven't given you a very direct message of, I'm not into this.
Yeah.
But then you were going to look over as you're talking to your friends, and I'm making out with this random man in the gallery, and we're off to live our life, and I'm going to go get pregnant. You know what it's very, like...
she might actually have already been pregnant.
And he might not even have been, like, that off-put, but it's just a bit like, your manners?
Yeah.
Like, manners much?
Yeah.
Anyway.
It also usually always drives me a bit nuts when it ends in a pregnancy.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking, how do we feel about this? How do we feel about pregnancy?
Bother me that much because she is almost 40.
Right.
And they had lots of history together. Yeah. So...
You're not scared for them.
No. Where I was like, yeah, that's not...
Alright.
Yeah, that... But I usually hate when it's like, and they ended up together and she's pregnant and has a baby now. Mm-hmm. Where it's just tied in a nice little bow. Yeah, but I feel like in their case, that did make sense. Where it didn't bug me. And I said, oh, yeah, good for them. Little cottage with their 80-year-old dog. I didn't put a rating on my Goodreads yet.
I did it because I didn't want to tell you.
Yeah, okay, that's, yeah.
Are we going to say rating?
Yeah.
Oh, 3.5. I think that's what I gave our other books too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 3. Yeah.
You should read The Unmaking of June Farrow, though.
And I also think when, like, the magic, when you're, like, waiting for more, that throws you off a bit.
That did throw me off that's what threw me off when I read Spells for Forgetting, because I was like, oh, there's, like, witches, but, like, then there was, like, no reference of witches, and, like, it was very, like, anticlimactic in terms of, like, magical system, but once I accepted it, it was okay.
I also, the first few pages, thought she was a man.
Oh.
Yeah. Casting call.
Book club casting call.
Oh, book club.
We got 5 people.
Yes.
Does that make sense? We didn't really talk about it before. I kind of just, like...
I just went with what you told me to do. Okay, here we go.
Who do we want to do first?
I ended up, like, I feel like throwing a lot of it back for this.
Huh?
I feel like they were, like, a lot of, like, throwback people.
Okay. Let's do our killer, Sadie. Oh, there's 2 killers.
Yeah.
Let's do Sadie.
Ashley Benson.
Ooh,
Pretty Little
that's
Liars.
a good pick.
Yeah.
Other than the woman from Schitt's Creek.
Yes.
Okay. Mine was Kobe Smulders.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I like her.
I feel like that's in the same category.
Yeah.
Same idea.
Olivia,
I had Quinta Brunson from Abbott Elementary, like the main character. Do you want me to show you?
like the main teacher girl.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she's actually a teacher too. So that.
In that show, she's a teacher. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's good. I had a Kirby Howell Baptiste. She just goes by Kirby. Big fan. She has great fashion.
Okay, I recognize her.
She was I'm trying to like think. She was in The Good Place.
Yeah, you've catched her
Queen
before or something.
Pins. Why Women Kill. Sugar. Sandman.
I feel like that's the same. I feel like we got the same vibe again.
Yeah.
Like Quinta Brunson is like a little bit like quirky and like.
Yeah. Yes.
Do Johnny?
I have Taylor Kitsch.
Taylor Kitsch.
Like from Friday Night Lights.
Is that like Lady Gaga's ex-boyfriend?
Ooh, no. But I forgot about him. That would be a good one for something. No, Friday Night Lights.
I don't know what that is.
You never watched that show?
No.
It was really good. Okay, so then I feel like you won't get this as much because you didn't watch it. I feel like anyone who's watched Friday Night Lights, the show, will like get it more.
Okay.
He was like the bad boy in the show.
Well, he's got the look.
Yeah.
Mine was Tom Hiddleston.
Oh, I love him.
When I pictured Johnny, I was like, I just always pictured like, and I don't even know what the book described, to be honest.
No, same.
I just pictured a guy that was like tall and skinny,
Yeah.
and just like good looking, but like an awkward weirdo.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Tom Hiddleston hit that for me.
He's not always an awkward weirdo. Have you seen him dance? He's a great dancer.
Well, maybe Johnny is a secret great dancer too.
You need to just look up Tom Hiddleston dancing videos.
Okay.
Just FYI. Okay, Micah or James?
I feel like Micah needs to be last.
Okay.
Who's your James?
Oh my god. Leighton Meester.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a good one.
Right?
I like that one.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Gossip
that's a
Girl.
good pick. She could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could do Lady Who Needs Help.
Yes, right? She's been in like those type of roles. What is it that she did like that roommate movie?
Okay.
And I feel like they could be brother and sister. That was my other.
Yes. Mine was Molly Gordon. Have you seen The Bear?
No.
Oh, Jamie.
I know. I'm really upset about that. I haven't
She's
seen
so
that.
good in that show.
Well, and I love. Oh, he would have made a good James too. Jeremy Allen White. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, we have the same vibes going.
Okay, the most important though is Micah.
Yeah.
Who is your Micah?
Josh Duhamel.
Oh.
To be fair, when I was sick.
50, Jamie.
Huh? Well, like younger. It was him, and I was also picturing Alexander Skarsgård. Because as I've told you, I listen to him storytelling when I go to sleep.
Yes.
So I also envisioned him, and then I did have a day when I was sick where I watched the 3 movies that Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell are in together. I think he's in 2 of them. And so I was also seeing that.
Okay.
So I feel like he's also kind of a throwback choice.
A little bit. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mine. Yeah, watch me show you a picture and you know who he is. Travis Fimmel?
Oh, who's
Fimmel?
he?
He's in the Vikings show.
That's another show I still need to watch. Oh, I enjoy him a lot. I don't know who he is, but I enjoy that photo.
Yeah. No, he had the look that I was looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, he looks like a mountain man.
Yeah. Yeah, you win that one. That was much better.
Yes.
I was struggling. But I still, in my mind, when I was reading it, it was Alexander Skarsgård for me.
I mean, do whatever you want.
And I had also watched him in, I can't remember what the movie's called, but it's like a Viking type movie, like a Nordic movie. What Nordsman even I might have been called. And he does have like a beard and long hair in it at one point. Really on an Alexander Skarsgård kick. And I'm not a blonde.
You are for Alexander.
Except for him. I just love him.
Okay, MVP.
MVP.
Who is yours?
Smoke for outliving everybody.
Oh, that's such a good one. Such a good one.
I feel like just living a great life. Like, it's just
it
gonna
makes
walk around town.
sense, and yet you're still alive.
Yeah. And he just gets to like kind of walk around town. People leave stuff out for him. He's not tied to a leash.
He's chilling.
Yeah. And I felt like he was always trying to tell her things and she wasn't listening.
That's
like
right.
With the closet.
Yeah, he's like, listen,
digging in the fireplace.
Bitch.
Yeah, like I'm trying to show you things so we can speed this process up.
Yeah.
I don't have much time.
I might die any day.
Yeah. Let's figure this shit out.
Okay.
I also thought he was gonna like die at one point, and I was like, I'll be really upset.
Mine is Sadie.
Oh.
I was just like, this crazy bitch.
Like, I get it.
This crazy bitch is crazy.
Yeah.
And I loved the twists and turns. I love her fake niceties. I love when she turned mean. I like how she tried to like change and then like apologize and then she was actually evil. I just
I'll have the funeral here.
Oh my god, that was so unhinged. That was so unhinged.
I'll give a speech.
And give a speech. I loved it. I loved it.
Hey, killers often insert themselves.
Okay, I'm gonna pee my pants.
Okay. Well, till next book club.
Till next book club. Okay, toodaloo.
We're out.
What?
I don't know.